Hello and welcome back to my channel. You guys, I am so excited because today we are going to be talking about my November reading and just looking back on 11 months of reading so far. 11 months for the year. That's kind of crazy to me. So for those who may be new, welcome to my channel, and for those who are returning, welcome back. If you guys are not yet subscribed but you want to be able to get my videos in your feed, definitely subscribe. And then if you want to get notifications every time that I post a new video, click that notification bell. So my name is Jess. You can find me also on Instagram and on TikTok as KnitPlanJess. And I will also include my Goodreads link down below to my profile. So if you want to follow or friend me, please feel free to. I love seeing what other people are reading. So I definitely love having more friends on there. Yes, so yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. So we start out in my Happy Planner reading journal. The way that I basically have this built is there is filler paper that I have created pages, and then I have monthly calendars for tracking. So this is my cover page. I was so stuck at what to do that I just decided, let's have the year and then the words just read, because that's my goal for the year, is just read. And then we have the books read. These are bookshelves designed by JoJo's Pretty Paper Shop, and then it's a printable, so I printed out several of them, cut them out, and just glued them to filler paper. And we are up to 5 of them, and I actually need to print out one more. So it's kind of crazy to me, but I love it. So I will be doing one more because I'm going to need some room for December. And then we have my to be read page. This is just basically books that I have written down during the year that I want to read. There's a lot that I've read. There's a lot more that I haven't read. So these will end up going into next year's TBR list. Like, there's definitely more that I haven't read because I keep adding to my TBR list. It's ridiculous. All right, then we come to my Goodreads page. So my Goodreads, this is the Goodreads challenge. This is my second year participating in the Goodreads challenge, but basically you challenge yourself to read a certain number of books a year, and then it shows you the tracking as you go. I decided to create a tracking page for it. My original goal was 50, and then once I met 50, I upped it to 75, and then I upped it to 100. As of today, when I record, which is December 4th, I have read, I think, 132 books. So I have not created an additional page. I'm just stoked that I met my initial goal, or I guess technically my stretch goal. And then we come to my Bad Bitch book club pages. So this has been a book club that I started with my friend Ashley of Ashley J Plans. And we are basically picking a book or two every single month that we're reading together. And then, if we get a chance to talk about it, fantastic. We initially decided one book a month, and then we upped it to 2. And November just didn't happen. So I didn't add anything for November, but we have 3 or 4 books planned for December. I think I actually need to ask her about that today. And then we come to my daily reading challenge. This is just basically me wanting to track that I'm reading every single day. So January, February, March, April, May, they all had days where I wasn't reading. But then in June, so I started listening to audiobooks in April, but in June is when I really became consistent with it, where I was devouring some kind of book every single day. And I'm really proud of that, because this is coming from somebody who 2 years ago in 2020 is when I decided to get back into reading, and I accomplished a whole whopping 16 books, which is better than the previous year where it was maybe 1 or 2. So I'm really proud of how far that I have come with my reading. And then we have the A to Z challenge. Basically, I am picking books that have the first letter of the title start with a letter from the alphabet. I do have Q as one of my TBR books for December, and I'm not going to be able to find one for X. I'm not going to be able to find one for Z, and for the simple fact that books that start with those titles, I'm not really interested in reading them. So I just decided I'm okay with leaving those blank. I may even go as far as to pick a book title that has that letter in it, the title, even if it's not the very first letter. So I may do that. We'll see. But yeah, at the same time, I'm also okay with not reading a book that starts with an X and not reading a book that starts with a Z. But like I said, there is a Q one that I want to read. So that's one thing I'm going to do. And then we have the colors of the rainbow. This is basically reading books that have the cover that falls in line with Roy G. Biv. I probably could have expanded on this, and I probably did not execute this one very well because I really didn't enjoy it, and I think I finished it by like March. So it's kind of been something that was done, out of mind, and yeah, that's all. Then we come to my monthly review. This is just basically a page where I can have little slips of paper to write down how many books that I read each month. So January and February were 8 each month, and then March was 6. March was actually like my worst reading month. April was 10, but again, I started introducing audiobooks. May was 10. June was 12. July was 14. August was 17, which was my best performing month until, and then September was 13. I hit 18 books in October. I'm pretty sure my audiobooks were like out of control. And then 15 for November. So I'm really proud of myself. And we'll see how many that I read in December. And then we have my look ahead page. This is just where I wrote down ideas for things that I want to do for 2023. And then this was kind of what I used as I was putting together my 2023 notebook and kind of deciding on more pages to add to my Bujo as well. So then we come to the tracking calendars. So I tend to keep these relatively simple in terms of decoration in the middle of the month, or in the monthly section of it. I'll usually decorate or do something like around the border. But this is just where I write down when I start a book and when I finish a book. And then the back side has covers of all of the books read. I just screenshot the books on Goodreads, put them to Canva, and then print out the page. So it's really easy, and I will do a future video showing you how I do that. And then we come to February, and then March. Like I said, March was like the worst performing month, and I don't know what happened that month, but that's okay though. That is perfectly okay. And then April, and then May. And May was also the month that I started introducing the monthly review pages, which is basically where I would write in my goal, actually then write down what I actually read, just kind of notes throughout the month, and then the top books that I read. So usually between 2 to 3 books a month for my book of the month. And then June, and there's the books read, and then the monthly review page. July, I, of course, had to go with Harry Potter for July because his birthday's on the 31st. And I also went with, sometimes these pages stick because of, oh no, never mind. Ha ha ha. Yeah, so here's the books read, here's the monthly review. I also went with Harry Potter for the monthly review. Then August. August was when I started using highlighters because I was running out of boxes for the titles. So my books read and my monthly review. I love these stickers so much from Jojo Apple Prints. The little books are so much fun, and little bookshelves. And look, we have Vinny, and then we have Duke. So Vinny and Duke. Oh my god, they're just adorable. Also, I totally said that was Vinny. That is a dog. That is Vinny. That is Duke. And then we come to September. I think I had intended on writing my goal in that circle, and I just never did, but I did pretty good with reading for the month. There's the books, and then my monthly review page. And then we come to October. And I did like a little double book because of the 31st and the 30th. I had a lot to write down, so I wanted to make sure that I had the room for it. And then books read and the monthly review page. I kept it super simple with this one, but I like it. And then we come to November. So November started out really slow, and then it really picked up, mainly because I was off this week. So I had a lot of time for audiobooks and for reading in general, or I had more time than normal. And all of the books read. So I want to kind of go over these books. So The Obsession, Carry Me Through Christmas, The Man I Never Met, and Whiteout. These were all advanced reader copies. Whiteout and Obsession were actually audio, so they were advanced listener copies, but they were all books that had not been released yet. Let's see. So Happiness for Beginners. I was actually able to participate in a Zoom with the author Catherine Center, and I just absolutely fell in love with her. Her writing style is just beautiful, and I really, really loved Happiness for Beginners. So What You Wish For is the sequel to that, and I did put Happiness for Beginners as one of my books of the month because I just thought it was just absolutely spectacular. The Man I Never Met was another one that I put as a book of the month. It was an incredibly emotional read. I know for a fact that it released in December. So if you have not yet read this one, or if it's not on your to be read list, definitely check it out. It is a woman's fiction, so it's not like I think when I originally read the summary, I was kind of expecting some like a rom-com. And then I started reading it, and I was like, this is definitely not a rom-com. It is very emotional, but it is an absolutely beautiful story. Lynn Painter has become one of my favorite authors to read. She does both YA, so young adult, and adult, and her writing is just absolutely incredible. And she picks out the best narrators for her audiobooks. The Office BFFs, this is written by Jenna Fisher and Angela Kingsley, and it was just absolutely so much fun. I listened to this as an audiobook, and I do have this one as one of the ones that I want to pick up as a physical book and keep, because I don't like to keep a lot of books. I don't have the room for it, to be honest, and I just kind of prefer audio and Kindle books, but every now and then I will find a physical book that I want to buy and actually hold on to. If I buy other physical books, I tend to give them to friends or return them to Half Price Bookstore and get credit. But this is definitely one that I want to pick up and actually hold on to. And I need to listen to their podcast now. So if you've ever been a fan of The Office, check out The Office BFFs and check out their podcast too. Abby Jimenez, I had read, so she has a 4-part series. I actually think it's like 5-part now. But it starts with The Friend Zone and then Life's Too Short. The third book is actually, because I read the third book already, but it's The Friend Zone, and then the Happy Ever playlist, and then it goes Life's Too Short. And then the 4th book is actually on my to be read list for December because I didn't get to it in November, but it is Part of Your World. She is a fantastic writer. She's snarky, she's sassy, she's funny, but she writes these incredibly emotional books for rom-coms, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So yeah, she's definitely one to check out as well. I had so many 5-star reads for November that I couldn't even put them all in my book of the month. And then The Whiteout this was actually an audio, and I thought it was fantastic. It had a whole cast of characters, but it's essentially several stories intertwined into one, with characters from the Black community, and I loved the voice that it gave to them. So that was a really good one. But yeah, so here's my page. Like I said, Happiness for Beginners, The Man I Never Met, and then The Office BFFs was what I chose for my book of the month, and I highly recommend them. I highly recommend almost any of the books that I read for November because I thought that they were so good. December has not yet been set up yet, but that's on my list to do eventually. But that leads us into my reading Bujo. So my reading Bujo, I set it up because I wanted to start using it as part of a summer reading challenge. So that was kind of how this started as a reading bullet journal. I have a summer reading page with the months, and then to be read, bingo, June, July, and August. And then these were like my favorite books of each month that I read. And then it just basically transformed into kind of just like a creative way to create pages. So I have I want to create a to be listened to list for Audible. This is books that I'm not going to be able to find from my library and I'm going to have to get from Audible. Then I have a Kindle to be read. This is basically books that I cannot get from my library for Kindle. So my choices is basically either to purchase them from a bookstore, purchase the ebook, or use Kindle Unlimited. And just because I tend to prefer ebooks, I decided to create this Kindle to be R list. And then I created this ARC list, and this is basically any advanced reader copies or advanced listener copies that I am going to have due in these months. So I set it up for just January through June. I will eventually create a page for July through December, but I love having this to like look over, like these are the books that I have been approved for. This is when they're due, or this is when they publish. So that way I know that I need to read the book before that date and post my review before that date and then post about it on that date. And then we come to just a couple months for the rest of the year that I did. So September, TBR and books read. And then October, my TBR and books read. And then November, I love November. With the stamping, and I actually wrote out like the titles and stuff. I kind of got a little bit more creative with this one, I feel like. My TBR, and then I did notate which books are going to be read in December that were on my list. And then here's all the books read. And I have not set up December, but again, it's on my list. But I also have kind of a lot of notes for how I want to do other pages in this book. This is not going to be set up as like a monthly tracking. It is basically going to be used for just creatively. So anything that I feel like I need, the only thing that is going to have monthly is going to be monthly wrap-up pages because I like the bigger size compared to like the classic planner. Well, okay. So I was wrong. It's really not that much. It's not bigger. It's actually shorter. But anyways, I like the 8x8 size, and I figured that this would be a really fun place to put my monthly wrap-ups from 2023. So I have all of those. And then, again, just notes for pages that I decide that I want to create, and I just need to get around to. All right, so there we go. Like I mentioned before, this is part of a collab with Plan with Elise, so definitely check out her video linked down below. We are going to be doing a December review in early January, and you will see coming up later in December that we're going to be having our reading journal set up for 2023. So check that out because we are coming back for 2023 to do another collab. I'm so excited. Elise has been like a huge motivator for reading. And, you know, especially for like some of the books that I chose, like I don't think I would have read any of Colleen Hoover if it wasn't for her, to be perfectly honest with you. All right, you guys, I think I'm done. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you are not subscribed and you want to subscribe, go ahead and click that bell. Click that bell. So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me. Thumbs up, subscribe, click that notification bell if you want notifications, all that wonderful jazz. Just know that I really appreciate your support. I love doing these videos, and it really, really makes me happy that people enjoy watching them. So thank you guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy the next video.